What's going on, guys? Grab your Gats and Glocks because we have one last ARM box to review. This week we're going to be reviewing the brand new Heat Packing Balloon Box in Animation Throwdown. First up, like always, let's take a look at the legendary pre-combo of the box, Paintball Hank. So this is actually a pretty good looking support healer pre-combo card if you need a good healing one for rumbles and challenges. It does have a really nice amount of heal that can go to any card. At 12 there for the quad fuse, and on top of that it also has a bit more support there with some shield all that will shield your entire card line. So not only will it be healing up one of your cards every turn, but it will also be protecting the rest of your cards a little bit as well, which comes in handy a lot to kind of just protect your score in rumbles and challenges to get those perfect scores, or if not a perfect, at least a higher score. The 11 sturdy wall is also really nice on that quad fuse because it also protects itself a little bit there as well. Because unfortunately with that 12 heal, it can't be healing itself with that. That has to go to another card, so it's good that it has some built-in protection of its own there. Its stats are kind of pretty average. 13 attack is nothing special, and 56 HP, while nice above 50, it's just kind of middle ground alright. The sturdy wall on top of that though does push it over the edge a bit, so it's not too bad on defense. Its skills definitely lean it a bit more towards support though, in my opinion, to be a nice little healer for your rumbles and challenges. Don't let that stop you from running it on defense though, because it can definitely take a hit or two before it gets demolished. Now we're going to be taking a look at the legendary items. First up is the new Heat Packing Priest item. So the thing that I absolutely love about this card is the picture and the name, a freaking Heat Packing Priest. That's brilliant. I love that. That is a fantastic joke from King of the Hill. That's about as far as my love goes for this card, however. Everything else to do with it is kind of just average in my opinion. The attack stat is just whatever, and the HP is under 50. 48 isn't bad, but it's not great either. I'm always looking for at least an insanely high attack stat or anything above 50 for defense for that HP, so it doesn't really meet either of those criteria for me. It's more just middle ground. On top of that, its skills don't exactly wow me either. The Motivate for 7 is really nice, and the 10 cheer that can go to any card is also nice, and you can't go wrong with the punch. I mean, don't get me wrong, all of the skills are great skills, but I don't know, just something about this card just doesn't really wow me. It's just, I don't know, it's not as impressive to me as some of the other new cards are. So don't let that stop you from running it. It's not a bad card by any means, it's not as impressive to me as some of the other stuff they were adding in. The second item in the box, Mobile Oppression Palace, we've already covered in a previous box review, but to recap, this is the offensive item of this Battleground effect for ARM this time around, in my opinion. I absolutely love its attack stat there at 20, and I do really like its skills. My only gripe with it is, while its skills are great for defense, it's not really a defensive card, because 34 HP is way too low. That can be one-shotted pretty easily. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about this card. I did give a more in-depth review on it in a previous box review, so feel free to check that out if you want. The link will be up on screen and in the video description. And the third and last legendary item in the box is a phenomenal defensive card to have for the items. It has 58 HP, which is amazing, and on top of that, it's got some great defensive skills there with the 10 payback and the 8 punch. Both of those are dealing out some extra damage to your opponents to kind of whittle away at their scores there, and it also has recover, so if the AI is making combos down your line instead of comboing this item right away, you will be getting more HP added to this card's pool there, which is just great. It is a great defensive item all around. As for the combos that you can make with all three of these items, they all more or less make the same combos across the board with about 53 different cards. We've already covered them all extensively in a previous box review, so feel free to check that out either with the link on screen or down in the video description. Now with the items out of the way, let's take a look at the characters of the box. First up is Hank Hill. As I've mentioned many times before, Hank is one of the best characters in the game offensively, in my opinion. As I've mentioned several times before in previous box reviews, Hank Hill is one of the best offensive characters that you can have in the game, in my opinion. His base stats are pretty average, nothing too special there. His skills are pretty cool though. He does have a lot of recover and boost, so if you are deciding to not combo him immediately and make other combos down the line, you can power him up pretty quickly. He also has a little bit of cheer all to fellow King of the Hill cards, which is nice for an all King of the Hill deck, especially in Siege. However, I'm not sure why you would not want to combo him right away, as Hank Hill has some amazing combos across quite a few different battleground effects. And speaking of his combos, Hank currently combos with 195 different cards across the game. He does have quite a few armed combos and a fighter combo as well, so we'll be taking a look at those ones first, as those are the current battleground effect combos, with fighter being the next one coming up next week, and then afterwards we'll jump into my top 5. So first up for the armed combos is Chainsaw Hank, which honestly is probably my favorite armed combo with him, because as you can see, he's pretty disgusting looking with those skills. With that disgusting amount of payback and gas, any card that this is going up against, it's dying relatively quick. And on top of that, it has the craze, so it's going to get stronger turn over turn. It is definitely a very deadly combo to be running. You could definitely have some fun success with that on offense. It's great on defense for its skills, however it is a high risk, high reward, as Hank Hill, the character card, can be taken out in one shot pretty easily by a strong enough combo with Punch, so just be wary of that if you are planning to run that in a defensive deck. In stark contrast, we have up next probably my least favorite armed combo with Hank, Traumatized Hank. If you look at his skills there, they're definitely based more towards defense with the payback and bomb. But however, like I said, Hank is very risky to run defensively, as he can get taken out in one hit, so generally speaking, I personally would never really run this in my defensive deck, so I kind of find it to be a pretty worthless combo in my opinion because of that. So it can work great on defense if it gets played, but that's a too high risk in my opinion. But hey, if you want to run that risk and try to get that reward payoff on it, you do you. Alright, and the third armed combo that you can make with Hank is Hose to the Head. This is a pretty good supporting combo for heals if you need a healer for armed during an armed battleground effect or with your armed deck. It does have a fair amount of heal there that is dictated to go 2 fellow armed cards for 1 card. And on top of that, you got some nice support there with the bombs, and you have boost, so if you do make other combos, this combo will get stronger as well. So not a bad supporting combo to be running if you need some heals in there. And last but certainly not least for the armed combos is, you might recognize as the pre-combo of this box, Paintball Hank. The actual combo version of this is a phenomenal support. If you thought the pre-combo was great support, then this goes double for that for the combo. Same thing that I said for the pre-combo, you got a crap ton of sturdy wall, some shield all to your cards, and the heal. In my opinion, I think this is actually the better healer for your deck for armed instead of the Hose to the Head. While Hose to the Head does probably provide a bit more singular heal to armed cards, I do like the trade-off of also having a shield all built into this combo to kind of protect your entire card line. So you trade off a little bit of heal on one card for you're still keeping some heal on one card with the shield all added in there, protecting your entire card line. So I do kind of think that is a very worthwhile trade-off to run in your deck, especially if you can run a team of these on offense. You're going to have a nice little Healy wall set up that's also defending you as well. So not a bad way to go offensively to give yourself some support there. And as for Hank's fighter combos, he currently only makes one, which is Stickin' Hank. However, it is a pretty good support combo as well. As you can see here, it's got heal all that can go to any card, and on top of that it's got the sturdy wall, so it's protecting itself a bit and it'll heal up your entire card line. So it's not a bad way to go for your healing support with a fighter deck once that gets going. On top of that, it does dish out some payback damage as well, so that will be hindering your opponent's decks a little bit to deal a little bit extra damage and help you kind of take them out a bit quicker. While payback is generally a pretty good skill to run defensively, I would not recommend running this combo defensively for the same reasons I mentioned earlier, and also just it's not a very hard hitting combo to begin with. This is definitely more of an offensive support combo in my opinion. Anyways, that's going to do it for the armed and fighter combos that you can make with Hank Hill. Now let's segue on into my top 5 combos that you can make with Hank. So at number 1 and number 2 are already two combos we actually already covered for Armed. It's the Chainsaw Hank and the Paintball Hank combo. I think both of those are phenomenal for the reasons I mentioned earlier, and they are easily top 5 combos for him in my opinion because of it. They both are really good combos with their own right. Chainsaw is phenomenal, a great powerhouse to run offensively, and Paintball is one of the best support healers in the game in my opinion because of his skill breakdown. So those are easily top 5 combos for Hank in my opinion there. And moving on to the next combo for my top 5 list with Hank, I'm sure everybody saw this one coming, Devil Hank. It is one of the most OP combos in the game, especially for Disguised. He has a disgusting amount of punch and gas, and on top of that he has Leech to be healing himself up as well. I love this combo so much that you can see I've actually taken him to Combo Mastery level 2 because of it, so I stand by that. And actually, if you want to see this combo used in action, feel free to check out my Combo Mastery Siege video with the gameplay there, and you can see me using him in my deck. I'll have the link for that up on screen and in the video description. And next on my list is Hank Hill Running Back, one of Hank's art combos. This is a really killer combo that's similar to the Chainsaw Hank. It's got Craze and Payback, and on top of that it's got Jab to eat through sturdy walls and shields. So this is a phenomenal combo. Between the Payback and Craze, it will be able to take out pretty much almost any card that gets thrown up against it relatively easily while it crazes and builds its attack turn over turn before it becomes a complete monster. You can see me using it in action in my run for 2500 in Secret Fight Club in my video of that when we went for number 1. So feel free to check that out. Link once again will be on screen and in the video description. And last but certainly not least is one of Hank's drunk combos, Mowing While Intoxicated. This is a true tank. It has Sturdy Wall, Craze, and Bomb, so not only is it pretty entrenched in itself there with the Sturdy Wall to protect itself, but you're dealing out some massive damage on flank with the bombs, and it can craze out of control pretty fast. So if you play this against your opponents, you can easily overtake them there if you have a pretty good wall setup. I've actually had this wreck my shit pretty good when it was used against me on defense in Secret Fight Club, so do not underestimate this combo. It is a true killer when used right. And that's gonna do it for Hank Hill. Now let's take a look at the other character of the box, Steve Smith. A legend in his own mind and in a card game. Here's the lowdown on Steve. Steve is actually a phenomenal defensive character, and he can actually work pretty well in an American Dad Siege deck for that same reason on defense to guarding your island there. His skill-wise for his Motivate does only support American Dad, so you're not going to see use out of that unless you're running a full American Dad deck. He does have some bomb damage there as well, which is a great defensive skill, and on top of it, he's got a good amount of Leech there, which goes hand in hand with his high HP, so it makes him that much harder to kill. So Steve has some pretty good combos. He used to be pretty limited, however they did add in some new ones more recently, so he has some pretty good versatility, especially going into Armed and Fighter, which we'll take a look at right now. So right off the bat, one of Steve's new Armed combos is Wheels Steve. This is one of my favorite combos to be running right now for Armed. I run this pretty regularly offensively in Secret Fight Club right now, and it's been getting me some wins. It's got a disgusting amount of payback damage, it's got Craze, and it's got Boost. So I normally just make this combo slot 1 and then try to set up more combos down the line because it's going to be boosting its attack. He's already crazing with every attack he does, and the payback is dealing out damage against whatever card is attacking him. So it makes pretty quick work of whatever it's getting thrown up against it. It is a great combo to be running for that. And it's a great combo to run defensively for Rumbles because if this gets made against your opponents, they are not going to have a good time against it. Like I said, that payback is disgusting, it wrecks scores, and it's going to be crazing against them. Plus, with the high HP that it has innately built into it, it makes it that much harder to kill. And because of that, it has that extra bit of time for the AI to make other combos down your card line, so it can benefit from that boost. So unless your opponent happened to be in the situation to play Hijack against this to kind of counter it, it will be wrecking them relatively quick. So a great defensive combo to run for Rumbles, and I highly recommend giving it a run on offense for your Secret Fight Club there. It is a lot of fun to use. Another armed combo that Steve can make is Santa Killer Steve. This is a bit more offensive than defensive, however it does still have quite a bit of HP, so it can work on defense. It does have a little bit of punch, which is nice. It's similar to the Wheel Steve combo, also has boost, so it can get stronger, and it has the jab skill to be breaking through shields and walls. So initially off the bat on offense, it won't be dealing out too much damage. This is more of a play it on the field and then try to get more combos made to turn it into a monster. I'll be honest, it's not as good as the Wheel Steve in my opinion, though it can have its place. It just does take a bit longer to get it going because of that. And the last arm combo that you can make with Steve is Water Gun Steve. This is a really great defensive combo in my opinion because it has a lot of payback damage and a lot of punch damage, and on top of that it's a complete health tank when everything is quad fused out, so it will be dealing some massive damage to your opponents if this gets played against them in Rumble. So highly recommend running this on defense if you're able to, as it will deal some massive damage to them. It will definitely shave off some points from their score and make it that much harder for them to get perfect hundreds against you. Now, I did mention that Steve does have a new fighter combo, however, it is still unconfirmed if that is actually going to be a combo or not. It was one of the leaked ones that was shown on the Line app, so nothing is really confirmed yet until it is actually live in-game, because the devs technically do have up until release to change their minds for certain things. So unfortunately I do not have a picture to share of that, but based on the leak, it's looking pretty good. The actual combo for its skills has Sturdy Wall, Leech, and Hijack, which are great skills to have on defense, and like I said, Steve is a great defensive character. So far, based on the leak, it only looked like it was going to get made with the new fighter items. However, like I said, nothing is 100% confirmed on that yet, so maybe the devs will add in some support for some of the old fighter items as well to make it. Who knows? We'll find out closer to release. It'll probably be showing up in-game come next week on Thursday when I believe that's when the Fighter Battleground effects start, so keep an eye out for that then in-game for the combos to see if it actually is going to happen. But it's looking like it is an amazing combo, and I kind of really hope it is real, and I hope they do expand the combo synergy map there to the older items, because if that's the case, I most certainly will be running that in my defensive deck because it just looks disgusting, and I love it. So now with the armed and fighter combos out of the way, let's take a look at my top 5 list of combos for Steve Smith. So right off the bat, the first two are ones we've already covered. You already probably picked up on how much I loved Wheel Steve, so that's easily making my top 5 list for him. No, like hands down, no questions asked. Tier 1, love that thing to death. I also really do like his water gun combo for defense as well, so that easily makes my list there for his top 5 ones. Moving on to some new ones though. For Disguised, I love Steve's Boy Witch Steve combo. This is a freaking amazing combo to run both offensively and defensively. A bit more towards defense because of the crazy payback and leech and how much HP it would have. It can work offensively because it has craze built into that too. Just keep in mind it is a slow starter because Steve doesn't have much attack starting out, but it can work on both. Another top combo with Steve, in my opinion, is Withdrawal Steve. You make a pretty fun combo when you give this boy some drugs. So unfortunately, the only addicted drugs legendary item in the game right now is butterscotch cookies. So kind of a downer that is the only way to make it with legends. You can make it with some of the epic and the rare cards for drugs. Actually, I don't even think there is an epic card for drugs. If there is, it's escaping me, but there actually might only be rare ones. Either ways, I digress. If you have butterscotch cookies, the reason this makes my list is there are a couple reasons there. First up, if you look at the skills there, it's pretty great on defense. It's got the payback, and it's got the craze there, so it can get out of control pretty fast. That can work really well on offensive as well for that same reason. And butterscotch cookies actually makes a lot of really good kind of unique combos across quite a few different characters in the game, so you can pretty much plug and play that card into almost any deck as a filler card and have some fun with it and make some amazing combos. So it does work out pretty well with Steve in that regard, and it can work out pretty well with a lot of other cards in there if you want to just make a pretty fun deck, so easily makes my list because of that. And last up is Old Steve, which you can make with the money cards. Once again, similar to the drugs, there is only one legendary rich card for the items in the game right now, which is Bag of Nickels. So once again, kind of crappy that you're limited on that. However, this is great support for the skills. It has Motivate that goes to any card, and it's got Punch. Those do get amplified a little bit when everything is quad fused out, so it can work out pretty great for support on defense, and you could even use it offensively strategically. Especially in Siege, you might have some fun with that as well. Bag of Nickels is also one of those cards that makes some pretty good unique combos across the board with a lot of different characters, so it's another kind of plug and play item, so have fun with that. I do know there is an epic item for money, the Golden Turd, so you can make this with epic cards as well, so have fun running this combo if you want. Like I said, rich cards, they're a lot of fun to use. And before we close out on Steve, I do want to make one more honorary mention. I did mention earlier about that potential new fighter combo with Steve, and if that is an actual real combo and that turns out to be true, that actually will easily make my top combo list with him up there. It would probably knock Water Gun Steve off the top 5 list if that's the case, but yeah, just looking at what it was, if that is a real combo and that's how it gets released, easily top 5 up there. Honestly, I would say probably top 2 up there with the Wheel Steve if it is legitimate. So just one more thing I wanted to mention about my boy Steve there. And that's it for the characters of the box. Now let's take a brief look at the epic pre-combos. And first up is Balloon Fight, and just like the tagline for the card says, I am not enjoying this. To be honest, I think this is a horrible epic pre-combo. I mean, its attack stat is pretty abysmal, its HP is horrible, and I'm just not digging the skills that go along with it to match. The 10 punch is nice, don't get me wrong, and you can't really ever go wrong with bomb and boost, so you can technically make it stronger, but 36 HP is so low, this is probably going to get taken out before it's able to even get any power behind it. It'll maybe get 1, maybe 2 hits off if you're lucky before it gets taken out. So not a fan of this one. I honestly think it is probably just worth recycling for the Watts in my opinion. Like I said, I am not enjoying this card. In contrast to that though, you got my boy Wheel Steve for the second epic pre-combo of the box, and while it's true I normally want my HP of my epic pre-combos to be 50 or above, 49 is pretty darn close, and I think his skills more than make up for it to run him on defense and risk that, because you got that 11 payback, which will be shaving off points from your opponent's rumble scores, and while the 12 attack isn't anything special, it does have a pretty nice amount of craze there for an epic pre-combo, and it's still got a good amount of boost, so it will be doing a bit of damage on your opponents before they manage to take it out, so I think it does have its place in a defensive deck for rumbles. So yeah, not a complete waste like that Balloon Tino one was. Alright, so to recap, I think that the legendary pre-combo of this box for Paintball Hank is a great supporting one to have in your deck offensively for some free heals and the challenges and rumbles. As for the legendary items, I love 2 of them, while the third one there with Heat Packing Priest just doesn't really do much for me, so kind of middle ground with that for the items. As for the characters, Hank I think is an excellent one to have multiple quad fuse copies of offensively, and then for Steve, he is a great defensive character. The one thing to keep in mind though is he is pretty limited at this point in time. While he does have some great combos across a couple BGs, he's definitely more situational and works a bit more towards American Dad unless you are in one of those battleground effects that work for him for combos. So just something to keep in mind. However, Steve is a bit of a rare oddity, so if you do want to get him, not a bad box to dip into because he doesn't show up in that many boxes. As for the epic pre-combos, Balloon Fight is trash in my opinion, while the Wheel Steve is pretty damn good. So when I factor everything in together, I'm going to be honest with you guys, this box has some pretty high highs and some pretty low lows. So I feel like that kind of balances it out to give it kind of just an average score of 3 out of 5 golden turds. Anyways, thanks so much for watching guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please be sure to click that like button, and if you're new to the channel or haven't already, be sure to subscribe and click that little bell icon so you get notified of new uploads as soon as they go live. Thanks again guys, until next time, peace out.